Hi, my name's Luna, and today I'm going to be breaking down, well, today and across multiple days, I'm going to be breaking down Pretty Boy and King's Game, which are tracks 1 and 2 from my debut album of SOLEN titled Pretty Boy. If you're watching this, the songs either should be about to come out or they're already out. The reason why I'm doing this now, even though usually these things are done after the entire album is out, is because Pretty Boy is actually an older song and it has a lot of history. There's a few demos, there's just a lot. So, story time. Pretty Boy was made in late March of 2023. So I was just beginning the Solent project in its entirety. I was beginning to write, to see what ideas I was going to want to explore. And one of the first things that I defined about the project was that I wanted it to have an EP and I wanted it to have an album. And I wanted these two projects to be closely affiliated on a thematic level, but to ultimately be about different things. And so I knew very specifically that I wanted the album to be called Pretty Boy. But I wasn't sure at this time if Pretty Boy was going to be just the title of this overarching character, or if there was going to be a song about the character. And so at this stage, I was toying with ideas. I was seeing and testing for myself what I wanted this character's world to look like. And so I was writing a few songs and a few demos. And around this time, which ironically, like in a really funny way, this is also in the same month, I wrote this song a few weeks after Hello World. It's really crazy to think about. And the song came about whenever Thomas was working on his album for Shakira, the mashups side of things. He was making a mashup album at the time, and he produced this drum beat that I really liked. And I was like, you're gonna send that to me, and I'm gonna make that into a song, okay? And so I took that drum beat, which I'm gonna show you in a second, and I overlaid it with a song demo that I already had. So what we're looking at right now is a very early demo of a song called What I Want, and it's just like a basic dance pop song because at this point I was very insecure about my production, so I was trying to make songs that were simple so that I could prove to myself that I could make a song. Because again, the only song that I had concretely at this point was The Foundations of Vessels and Hello World, which was written on top of a type beat. And so we have one of my first attempts at producing a song for Solon. And what we have here sounds like this. So what we can hear, first of all, is the vocal chop that is present throughout Pretty Boy in the beginning and in some parts in the background. I turned this into a textural thing. If you recognize this voice, that's because it's Len, which is a Vocaloid, and I think I've spoken about this briefly, but Solon was going to be, the songs were going to be sung by a Vocaloid, and it was always going to be horror and pop music, and the horror aspect that I was like toying with was that it was going to be a virtual pop star that would hack its fans, and it would be voiced by Len. Obviously, there's another story that I ultimately decided to tell, and a different voice to tell it. However, this proved to be greatly useful to me. This is still the musical foundations for Pretty Boy. And so I'm going to play the instrumental, a demo version of it. Something interesting, something else that's interesting. Here we are. This is really funny. This is a project called Bridge Memory, and the only thing that's on this project is a piano NFL keys track with this. And this is from 2023. If you don't recognize it immediately, this is a melody that's "Boy, can't you see, you look way better when you're looking at me," which is in the final song. At this point, I didn't know where that was gonna go, because I only had this, which is going to load. Okay, so it's finally loaded. This is the bare bones beat, the foundational things that compose the whole of the Pretty Boy song. So as I spoke about, we have the drums from Thomas's remix. I think that's about all, which sounds like, I'm sorry, I duct taped my phone to my monitor and I cannot see very well, but that's fine. Anyway. So yeah, this is the drums from Thomas's song. And then these parts are from the What I Want song. And this is a MIDI. It's still this chord progression. These are straight from that song, but chopped for Pretty Boy. This is an omnisphere bass. These bells are also from What I Want, but at this point I hadn't chopped them yet. This is also still in the song. I think there's something missing. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll get there. So this is a demo instrumental for Pretty Boy. These garage perks are a Looperman sample. It should be credited in the Pretty Boy video and on Bandcamp and places like that. This instrument is very interesting because it wasn't always this. It was something that was a little bit closer to Thomas's original song. But I really like this sound. It's so silly to me. And it's warm enough that it doesn't annoy you as it lingers in the song. It's not too grating. And it has this like air of like silliness, of like seriousness that I really like. Really helps with the song's satirical subject matter. It's satirical, but it's not inconsequential, as the album will explore. This part you may recognize if you've heard the full song. You may recognize this as the post-chorus for the second chorus, but I actually didn't always know that that's what it was gonna be. For a really long time, I knew that I wanted this more cathartic part with everything on it to play, but I didn't know what it was actually going to be here. And I only wrote the post-chorus like in late last year, as you're going to see, in like August or something. I'll show you that later. But for a really long time, I didn't know what this was going to be, and I didn't know how I was going to incorporate the bridge melody that I showed you earlier. And so, with that in mind, we are now going to move on to the demos. So, there are two demos that I'm very interested in. There's more than these, I'm probably gonna put them up on my Patreon, but we have a demo from 2023. That's not what it says because this is a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy that I made like last year when I thought I was fucking hacked. But this is from 2023. No, this one was. And I've listened to this before, so I'm not unexpected of what's going to be in here, but this demo was very interesting to me. I want to show it to you. We already have the incorporation of the moan here. This is the moan that's still in the final song. I actually recorded it with this USB mic. That note is so cute to me because you can tell that I could already do the wah, but I was too shy to do it, so it just goes like to keep all eyes laid right upon me. Girl, put the altar boy down. Put the altar boy down. Anyway, I make my friends carry my heavy items for me. I touch it up and get back. This sounds deeper because the way that I originally imagined the song, I was going to sing it with my chest voice, but I ultimately sang it with my head voice to better fit with the pop convention, I guess. Back up real seductively, I'll get you off. So like most demos, literally most of them, I decided that I was going to sing it in head voice very late. So most, if not all of the demos are in chest voice, which is probably how I'm gonna sing it live anyway. Move it along with my morning. I'll make them chase, but they could never get a hold of me. They come to me from the front cover of a magazine. You're the hot topic only behind my virginity. And I've got a message in my bio, I'm holy. And I like to get it on like that, pass right to the attack. I got something they lack or wish to be or feel, and I'll bet I'll carry on like that. Hope you don't mind that I know good bone in my body. So if you're dead set on getting me, just really think I'm pretty. They think I'm pretty. They think I'm pretty. They think I'm pretty. So again, this demo is very like early on into the lifespan of the song, but everything is already here on a conceptual level. Like this is the foundation of the song already. And all of the lyrics are the same too. This is like, as far as the lyrics go, this is the final version. And then we have, I think this demo is from 2025. Laid right upon me. So as you can tell, there's like a raw to it because I'm singing with my chest. I make my friends carry my heavy items for me. I toss it off, pick it back up real seductively. I cut you off and move it along with my morning. Think I'm pretty, think I'm pretty, they think I'm pretty. Ooh, interesting. In here you can hear it better. It's also in the final version of the song, but there's like a vocal that goes, "You're so pretty." Set on getting me, just really think I'm pretty. Think I'm pretty, they think I'm pretty. They think I'm. That's a sample. Pretty, they think I'm pretty. They think I'm pretty, they think I'm pretty. Just really think I'm pretty. I think some of the vocals on this are in the final version, actually. You just really think I'm pretty, boy. Okay, and here the second verse is entirely missing, I think. Think I'm pretty, those are the final vocals for the post-chorus. Think I'm pretty, you just really think I'm pretty, boy. Step right up into my confessional and kneel for what I've got like you ain't seen one before. When you leave, don't say a word because I already. Why can't you see? You look good better when you're looking at me. See, that I integrated the bridge after the post-chorus, and so there was room for everything. Boy, can't you see you look way better when? Boy, can't you see you look way better when you're looking at me? Boy, can't you see you look way better when? Is missing, and the guitar solo is actually something that I get asked a lot about, and we're gonna get into that in a second. So at this point, the song's already all there. I wrote the post-chorus, and then after that, there was like obviously a need to add something in the middle before the guitar solo that I also wanted to have, and so I sequenced it like the post-chorus, then the bridge idea from 2023, and then I wrote a guitar solo. And I found something really funny, which is me with my voice writing the solo. And so this is what that sounds like. And that's what's saying the song. No, it's not. It's in writing, it is, but I think I'm gonna show you the project file in which I wrote the guitar. Right, so we have, or not, I guess, like we used to have an export of the instrumental right here, but I don't have it anymore, I guess. And this is the guitar solo. And you're probably thinking, Luna, that sounds really bad. And the reason is because I don't know how to use this fucking application. And so I just went on the piano roll. This is like me manually automating the pitch bends for the guitar. And then it sounds like this. And then with some further articulations in the final project file, I made it sound the way that it does in the final version. So yeah, that's the guitar solo. Further, now I guess it's time to open the actual project file. So I'm going to break down the fucking vocals and stuff for you to see. This is like just sort of the instrumental. We have the leads that, as I said, we recorded pretty late into the process because I wanted it to be in head voice. I look my best to keep all eyes laid right upon me. I make my friends scary, my V items for me. I toss shit, I'll pick it back up real seductively. And now it sounds like I'm trying to seduce you, as opposed to like me being mad as fuck, because I was like, you know, this sounds more approachable, like by a lot. So like the lead vocals are like, like that, straight to the attack. I got something they lack, courage to be our fill. Kind of boring. So I'm just gonna like focus on the stacks of it all. They think I'm pretty. 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 There's this really pretty harmony. They think I'm pretty. They think I'm pretty. Pretty. And this was my first time doing like vocal stacks, because that's something that I didn't know how to do, nor did I feel emboldened to do that. I was like, I don't think people are gonna come to my music for my voice. But like, I eventually got over that. I got over myself and I started doing stacks. They think I'm pretty. They think I'm pretty. This bar here is just me like trying to rationalize how I'm going to like put everything, like place everything in your ears. I was like, okay, so I'm gonna do 50 on this, and this I'm gonna do like 65, and I have no idea if like that's how you're supposed to do it. They think I'm pretty. They think I'm pretty. So have you singing in falsetto instead of using alter voice? This song doesn't use alter voice at any point. I'm lying. I'm completely lying to you. Yes, it does. Hold on. We'll get there. So we have the sample vocal still too.
You're so pretty. You're so pretty.
They're very difficult to hear though. Next. My favorite vocals on this song are obviously the post chorus, and I really like what I did on the verses. I also really like this vocal. This is like what I call the taunt vocals, where I do like you'll hear it. Is it bad I put you on like that? When I get you attached, it must not be that bad if you're tailing my back. So if we don't get along too bad, you ain't even after that. I'm like going up and down like a ghost, like taunting you. Because I'm annoying. There's also the ad-libs. Put you on. You must really think I'm pretty. I think this vocal is too quiet in the final version, but I'll probably fix that in the album version. There's a lot of stacks that I wanted to do, but I didn't ultimately do them. And I might retroactively change some of the vocals on this song. Mostly just to add more. I had a lot of fun recording the background vocals for both this song and King's Game, which we'll get to in a minute. And then what else? What else would be interesting to show you? What's this? You can't help but lose me. On my lower back, but it's a juicy. Right up here, but you can't help but lose me. More harmonies. Bending over backwards just to see me. And this is where Alter Boy comes back. It's just repeats of the lead with Alter Boy and little micro shift. See me, save me. Yes. Save me. Yes, okay, this is the bridge. So you have whispers. Why can't you see? You look way better when you're looking at me. Wait, the bridge isn't the interesting part, it's the post chorus. Hold on. I step right up into my confessional and kneel for what I've got like you ain't seen one before. When you leave, don't say a word because I already know that I think I quantized this in the final version. This is a falsetto. Step right up into my confessional and kneel for what I got like you ain't seen one before. When you leave, don't say a word because I already know that I'm pretty. Yeah, in terms of vocals, this is like very straightforward. Just like the bare minimum. Oh, there's also this part in the outro that I think is really pretty, where I like repeat the post-chorus, but it's like muffled. The reason why the file names are all like Pretty Boy, Whisper L, and then the dates that I recorded them on, the reason why we have this is because I can't record for some reason on my big computer. It just doesn't let me, so I have to record on my laptop and then bounce everything and put that on here. It's very tedious. But it's like something to do with the drivers or whatever, because I use like a refurbished fucking Scarlett Focusrite or whatever, and it just doesn't compute, I guess. And with that said, that pretty much is Pretty Boy. The only things that are interesting to talk about as far as changes go to the demo instrumental, I added a wah-wah pedal to the keys that I chopped because I thought it sounded good. I really like wah-wah pedals. I obviously added the bridge with the 808. It's very Teaches of Peaches inspired. It's one of my favorite parts of the song. I think that it's like a very good detour before the guitar solo. And yeah, finishing the song was like incredibly cathartic after like 3 years of knowing about it and liking it a lot and like listening to the bounces on my Google Drive. I remember like crying my eyes out when I thought I had the master. I didn't have the master. There was still things I had to go back and fix. I'm still not entirely sure on the mixing of the song. You guys are gonna have to like tell me if it sucks and then I'll fix it for the album release. And yeah, as far as that goes, that's Pretty Boy. And so now we're gonna move on to King's Game. I recorded an entire thing but I didn't record an entire thing because I didn't press record. Anyways, I found the demo for King's Game. It used to be called Chips, which is like such a lame title. And then it was also called In My Armor for a little bit. And ultimately, I called it King's Game, which sounds so much like I wrote the title first and then I wrote a song around the title. It's not what happened. And so for King's Game, I wrote just a song. Like I was just writing music for the album at this point. And at the point that I wrote it, I already knew how it was going to end. I already had the first song, and I already had the last song, and I already had the centerpiece song. And so I was just like working the everything else in the track list at this point. And I had this song, and I was like, this would be a very good song to have be as track 2, but it's too slow because I'm very specific about pacing albums. I think that your opener should be very good. It should be an all-encompassing song that demonstrates what the album is going to continue to be, but like right away, you know, so the listener knows what they're being roped into. Am I recording? I'm insecure about that now. Anyway, the listener, blah, 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 correct. And for Pretty Boy, I wanted it to be like a 4-step on a beat track. Something fun. I wanted it to like keep it fast. I wanted to keep it fast. And this song is not fast. I wrote it on a beat that I made. It's like a swag bounce beat. The full version of this is on Patreon. Take whatever I want. I come up and ask who I got it from, and I don't tell a soul it's confidential. Ain't no need to front. The truth is that I run this shit and I make it look easy too. Right. This was too slow. I knew that it was going to be a good track too, because it's like, okay, we have this person, we have this Pretty Boy, and now where is he? Where is he in the world? Where is this bad person being a bad person, essentially? And so this song continues the themes of Pretty Boy, but it shows him in a setting interacting with people. And so for a concept album, I found this to be like the perfect segue. I just didn't want it to be this slow. And so this instrumental parts of it are still throughout the album and in the album version of King's Game, but I reworked it essentially. You'll see. I basically did something that's very similar to dancing in the EP. Not that you know of that, because I trimmed it out. I trimmed the fucking transition out. It's just the house song, and that's what we're gonna be breaking down now. Am I recording? Just making sure again. Right. Okay, we are. Good to know. Good to know. Can I like fit this? And like I can't. Well, anyway. This is bounces from the fucking project that I actually made the rework in. But a lot of the things, the melodic aspects of the original version of King's Game are still here. So the strings, they're from that version. And then I added this bass. I cannot see this part of the screen because of my phone. Very simple. It's like a very straightforward beat. This is a sample. Can you tell what it's from? I'll give you a moment. This is Serenity from the original Resident Evil 4, and it is a very prominent sample in all of my music. I put it all of everywhere, like it's everywhere in my music. I'm a huge fan of the fourth Resident Evil. I've played and beat both games in the hardest difficulty. I'm a very big fan of that game. Love it a lot. It's a very simple beat. You have like a fucking Crystal Castles synth, but it's not the bass. It's just there to like add some, you know? And obviously, I wanted this to be like faggy as fuck. I wanted this to be like a very gay song. And so I obviously had to introduce the like 909 vote. I don't think this is in the final song. It's just an arpeggio. I also don't think this is in the final song. These are Glassbergs that are also in another track. This song, one of the foundational things, like in its core, is the strings motif that's also in Pretty Boy and in some of the songs going forward. Yes, this is a direct bounce of the strings that are in Pretty Boy and just slowed. Very simple. This song, this is a true first song that I did stacks for. In the demo, they're very simple because I was very afraid. But in the final version, I'm actually like doubling each vocal and like spacing it out in the space, I guess. And so really, this beat is just like a stage for the vocals. King's Game is my least favorite song on the album, admittedly, but I thought that it was an important song for me to release first because one of my biggest critiques that I got is that I hide my voice a lot, and it's true. And so I was like, oh, you want to hear my voice? Honey, you're gonna hear all of it. You're about to hear all of it. So, King's Game, you have vocals that are like in a phone call effect, which is this.
Leave a mark that they can't see unless you go make it a scene. It's up to you if you want to keep it between you and me.
You can see that at this point, I was like, I already had a better arrangement of how I was going to manage the laptop situation. So this is like the actual takes.
Leave a mark that they can't see unless you.
You have like, again, Alter Boy deep vocals.
Want one foot, then she, oh.
Which is just me just speaking like. We have ad-libs. This is like the same chain as Pretty Boy. I started like doing lead repeats. There's people that I've heard that you're supposed to like do 4. But I only did 2 for this song.
But I can't change my mind without no chips in my heart. I get to wipe you off like I am newly fallen snow.
My biggest inspiration for this song was Janet Jackson's Feedback and Experience by Victoria Monet. And so you have me like experimenting with
But I can't change my mind without no chips in
like reverbs and echoes, because usually I like to keep my vocals as dry as possible in terms of reverbs and echoes. But in this song, I felt like it was appropriate. There's also like a vocal pad. I love these. These are also in like Digital Love. This is the raw. I also like get the raw feedback. You get it. And we also have like obviously the vocal pad.
Baby, don't be scared.
In this part I cheated for verse 2 because this part is so fast and I wanted to like get the perfect takes without as much hassle as possible. So there's a project file of this that's just slowed down a bunch, and that's where I recorded.
Baby, don't be scared. No ghosts in my belt, only sugar from the fair if you're riding on me. And I like how you dare, should I ring on your hair, but my baby do beware, secrets are silly. So if you wanna dance with a fling, no romance, silly friends of a friend, don't mean nothing of it.
And that was the most favorite part of mine. The friggin' stacks. I'm gonna play them for you. This reminds me so much of like ABBA for some reason. We have the low ones.
It's Ver1. Run this shit and I'll make it look easy too.
And then we have the second harmony.
Ver1. Got it from Confidential. Run this shit and I'll make it look easy too. Get your names, your genre, gyms if I to choose. Lock you in, I'm just playing it by the rules. You're different, and I pretend that it's true.
Right. Then we're getting higher. Let's play that again.
Ver1. Got it from Confidential.
That's what that sounds like.
Run this shit and I'll make it look easy too. Get your names, your genre, gyms if I to choose. Lock you in, I'm just playing it by the rules. You're different, and I pretend that it's true.
This song was so gratifying to record. I had a lot of fun doing this. And the highest harmony, which is also
Ver1. Got it from Confidential.
ascending.
Run the shit and I'll make it look easy too. Get your names, your genre, lock you in, I'm just playing it by the rules. And I pretend that it's true.
Just rising each time. You can, again, the TV track and the acapella are available on the extended single version of this song, so you can listen to my like vocal production in this way, in that way. You can buy it either by subscribing to the Patreon, and you can also purchase it on Bandcamp. And that's most of the song. It's just me trying to show you, I guess, my voice after the EP sort of hit it so much. And so, yeah, I wanted to release it in second place for all of these reasons. I wanted you to get to hear my voice more, and I wanted to get my least favorite song off the album out of the way. Again, it's still a really good song. There's no songs that I don't like on the Pretty Boy album, and I'm very interested in continuing onward with this rollout. I'm very excited. So this is all for now. If you want to read my annotations on the lyrics, I have a webpage up where I actually do that. So I won't be doing that here. But as far as production goes, everything is very simple. It's pretty much the same as the EP, with me using a lot of Xenology and Serum and super saws and guitars. If you have any questions or like any criticisms, I'll probably address them in the next video for the second single, because this album is very consistent. The sound, it endures. And yeah, I really hope you like these two songs. I'm very excited to release more. And yeah, I will talk to you again very soon. I don't know, it's probably going to be something related to the horror series, honestly. We'll have to see. And yeah, that's been me, you guys. This is my stop. This is me. So thank you for watching. And yeah,